Hey everybody, Cookie here along with Swany, and we are here to talk about the Last Jedi DLC Patch Notes 1.0. We've been waiting for this patch for quite a long time. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights for you guys and tell you what some of the most important things are that got done in this latest patch, and to tell you if we're happy and unhappy about what we see. So, Swany, tell us first off what you think are some of the most important things that got updated in these patch notes and that you're happy to see got done.
Okay, well, to start us off, I noticed that they have a lot of hero changes, which is a good thing. It shows that they're actually paying attention. And now they made some changes that I didn't even notice were problems in the game, like Lando. They buffed Lando, which I didn't. I mean, his range for they gave him more range for his one ability. I didn't I thought that it needed a slight buff, but I wasn't like, oh man, Lando needs a huge buff. But so I mean, I'm not complaining. Lando's good. I'm glad they gave Lando a buff. They changed Rey's mind control so that opponents can actually use their abilities now. Before, if you were affected by mind control, you just had to dodge. It's your only hope. Like, you couldn't use any abilities to counter it. So now I guess she won't be as OP. Like, people won't complain. Like, I never thought it was a problem before, but I guess we'll see how that plays out.
One thing I would just to say something about the Lando one, I'm hoping that the increased sharp shot damage from 190 to 200, I'm hoping what that does is maybe allows you to one-shot heavies, because that's one of the problems with Lando when you use the sharp shot and you're up against a heavy, it won't kill a heavy. So it makes it kind of pointless against them. So I'm guessing that's what that's for, and that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's probably why they did that, because if you come up against heavies, they just need to make heroes better against heavies in general. So I guess that's a pretty good first step.
Everybody better against heavies.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be too bad either.
The fact that Lando can one-shot heavies now, if they're not buffed by something else, like if they don't have like a officer buff or something, but that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that you pointed that out.
Yeah.
Yoda had a few.
Well, they might
changes.
also. Well, what I was gonna say is they might also get a buff from like a Yoda's presence, which also got a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily a buff or just it's more of a polishing it up, I guess. I mean, some of the stuff got a buff. His dash got a big buff, which is going to be interesting because now it does a lot more damage. It also. The presence is no longer removed when you go on a cooldown, so like the health that you get from Yoda's presence doesn't go down on a cooldown, it just goes down after 10 seconds, like on a time limit. So the dash increase is going to be nice for Yoda, but generally I didn't do a ton of changes to Yoda overall. It's just a lot of polishing to him, except for that dash damage. I think that would probably be the biggest thing.
There was a glitch where if you use the 1-star card, it was supposed to give you 1 extra dash, but it gave you 2, so you could have a total of 4 dashes. I didn't know that. Like, that would have been pretty OP to use if you could dash around 4 times. But yeah, so they made that down to 3, so you only get 3 dashes, kind of like Darth Maul. So I'm okay with Yoda's changes. Like, it's not going to make that much of a difference, that increased dash damage, because a sniper is 100 health. So, I mean, you one-shot snipers pretty much anyway. And then assault's 150 health, so you still don't one-shot assault. But, I mean, if you're, like, facing a group of people, it's going to make a difference. And it might help against heavies, too, because if you do that extra 30 damage, that could be, like, 1 less hit you have to do with your, like when you go to double tap them or to finish them off after you dash through them. So that could help against heavies.
Well, one person we were talking about desperately needing a buff was Emperor Palpatine. Although you did say after getting some star cards he might not need a buff as bad. But they did give him a pretty nice buff. They increased his health from 650 to 700, which is extremely significant. His maximum regen from 150 to 300, and his regen rate from 50 to 75. And I guess they decreased the stamina for both of his Force Lightning costs. So a general buff, no nerfing, no polishing, just a general buff for Emperor Palpatine, which I think, in my opinion, I mean, if you don't have him upgrade with star cards, he's pretty shit. So I think it was pretty important for them to do all these things because he still can't block or anything. So I I think these were necessary changes. I don't think this will make him OP, and I personally think it's a good move by Dice on this one.
I'm actually like I think this buff, the Palpatine, is going to make Palpatine my favorite hero because I thought Palpatine was really good if you upgraded him. Like I thought he was perfectly fine, didn't need a nerf or a buff. So them giving him this buff is going to make Palpatine very, very dangerous. Like, the highest I've gotten with Palpatine is like 82, I think is what I got. I just didn't upload it because there was no point, because my highest with him was like in the 70s. I'm not going to upload that few of a kill. Yeah, I'm not going to upload that difference. It has to be like a significant difference for me to upload it. But, like, I think one person got 100 something with Palpatine. Like, Palpatine's good if you know how to use him. So, with this buff, people are going to go insane with Palpatine. But I'm not complaining. I like Palpatine. I'm glad they gave him this buff.
Well, I think
like
that's
you said,
also
he can't block.
What you said. If you know how to use him, which a lot of people don't. So this makes him useful if you aren't like really that good with Palpatine, like me. I might be able to use him a little more effectively now. Now, for someone like you or someone who's really good with him, though, yeah, he's gonna be super difficult. But I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing because there's not that many U's on the planet, to be honest. Anyway, there's there's also a buff for Chewbacca. Chewbacca was another one that we both said probably could use some sort of buff. He did get a buff. I don't know if it's going to be enough, to be honest, but it's definitely going to help. Increasing the bowcaster fire rate, increasing the power, increasing the number of blaster shots from 1 to 3. And also his charge slam, which has probably got the biggest buff. Its radius was doubled for a charge slam now, which is very well needed. Yeah, the charge slam is really crappy. And just as just so it looks cooler, it now sends him flying when he does the charge slam. So that's nice. So just to make it look cooler.
See,
it might be enough.
Mixed about Chewie.
Know.
See, Chewie is not very good in Galactic Assault. And that's because it feels like his health is bugged. Like, if you shoot him, he kind of feels like Iden Versio. Like, he can't take hits. It's like his health drains faster for some reason. Like, he has a lot of health, but it's like when he gets hit, he takes more damage. It's hard to explain. Like, with Iden, if you get hit with, like, 2 sniper rounds, you're basically dead. It feels the same way with Chewie. Like, if you're Vader with 700 health and your Chewie with 700 health, it feels like Vader has more armor. It's hard to explain. It just feels that way when you're playing with them. Like he's got that much health, he just can't take damage. It's weird. So I think they needed to tweak his health. I don't think they need to increase his damage because Chewie is a monster in Heroes vs. Villains. Like, I was playing as him yesterday and I went, I think, 23-0 because he just melts through everybody. Because you can shock them and then they're frozen and then he melts them with the bowcaster. So increasing his damage with the bowcaster is just going to be deadly in Heroes vs. Villains. And I don't know. It might make a difference in Galactic Assault, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, the only thing that got done to his health is there's a bonus health star card now, which properly rewards the health bonus, is what it says. So I don't know what that exactly will do. But Chewbacca's turning into more or less what he was in the first Battlefront, which is not very good in like the Walker Assault and Battlefront 1, Galactic Assault and 2, but very good in Heroes vs. Villains. So we'll see what happens with Chewbacca. Boss got a slight nerf. They decreased his maximum possible active time while firing by 1 second on his Predator instincts. So I don't know exactly. I'm trying to think exactly what that does. It also, the interesting thing to me was it said it adjusted Bosk's battle points cost on certain maps.
Yeah, he's supposed to be cheaper on Clone Wars maps, I think. Because I think he technically was alive. It was around in the Clone Wars, so they're going to make him cheaper for Clone Wars maps.
Well, that would be kind of nice because, I mean, at the moment you can only get, like, Darth Maul for Clone Wars maps at a discount, so that could be kind of useful. That's probably the most significant thing that happens for Bosk. And Palpatine. I wouldn't know 'cause I actually still haven't unlocked
He'll
him.
probably be cheaper on like
Um,
Kashyyyk or something.
yeah. Boba Fett got a slight nerf, which probably was
As
needed,
much
or
as
do you
it,
think it
I
was too
hate.
much of a nerf?
I mean, he needed it. It hurts my feelings. I mean, I really love Boba Fett, but he didn't need it. Because if you stacked his rockets with that one ability where you could do more damage to heroes, it was stupid broken. Because you can instantly kill heroes without that anti-hero rockets. So yeah, combining them was pretty crazy. Yeah, so that
I don't
part
think
was
they
definitely
overly
needed.
nerfed him though.
Oh
It sounds
no,
like
no.
a good nerf from what I'm reading. I think it sounds like it should work pretty well.
He's more balanced now. The only thing I don't like that they changed or didn't change about Boba Fett is they didn't mention anything about his jetpack. Like his jetpack glitches out and it just stops working. Like some people say that it's supposed to shut off if it gets shot, but I've had it turn off and I haven't even been shot before. Like I literally spawned in as Boba Fett. It wasn't even 30 seconds yet and my jetpack just stopped working. Like that's pretty big deal for Boba Fett, and there's no mention of that anywhere. So that's my biggest concern with Boba Fett. But I do like the changes that they made.
The only other significant hero change is Darth Maul's Furious Throw can now damage objectives and vehicles, which is kind of useful. I mean, it depends on how it's used, but that could be somewhat significant now. He could throw his lightsaber and actually do some damage to vehicles.
Yeah, like a ATRT
however,
that's chasing him or something.
Yeah, like an ATRT, or it'd be kind of cool if he hits a plane. He hits a starfighter that's going down low and he throws up his lightsaber and blows it off. That would be badass. That's gonna happen to somebody. Then probably the most important changes were in the general part of the patch notes. Some big ones that people have been complaining about for a long time, like improving the game server lag on large game modes. That was like an up and down issue. It was horrible for a week, then it was good for a week, and then the last couple of days it's gone to crap again, especially on Kashyyyk.
It was unplayable.
It was completely unplayable on Kashyyyk. And so that hopefully has been fixed. They mentioned making improvements to that. They also mentioned... again, with collision and traversal issues on a couple maps. They did that in the first patch. Apparently they did that again. I think they're the same maps. Kashyyyk, Endor, Tatooine, Yavin 4 are the maps they said they fixed that on. So, I mean, that's something I've been complaining about. A big one, too, they fixed where the heroes get instantly defeated by speeder bikes. That pissed a lot of people off. I know.
Oh, yeah. People save up battle points and then get one shot by a freaking speeder. I've had so many streaks in because of that.
It's awful.
And then I just get angry and just go on a rage, and I just slaughter all the other heroes on the other team with my speeder just to get back at them.
Going on an Anakin Tusken Raider spree of anger and revenge.
Yes, so that I'm glad they fixed that.
They also unlocked the second and third star card slot for all 4 trooper classes right from the beginning. That'll be pretty important for new players mostly. Obviously, it doesn't matter for someone like you or in some cases me, but even I don't have on all of my accounts all 3 star card slots unlocked because I use my stuff on other things like Starfighter stuff. So it has a little bit of significance, I think. I'm missing something else. There is also one of the big ones was adjusting the score. Let me see if I can find that part exactly. But they did talk about fixing several scoring event issues, and they also talked about giving people the right amount of credits. There it is. Fix an issue where credits are not rewarded properly to all players at the end of a round, which obviously has been something people have been very angry about. I've only played a little bit of it so far, and I can tell you I got like 100 more credits in Starfighter Assault than even after they fixed it the first time. So it definitely looks like they're giving out more credits, which should help their PR a good bit, but
I mean that's not you don't know for sure. You only played a few matches. I mean,
well, that was no, I've never gotten that many points in Starfighter Assault ever in the history of this game. So they definitely did something. Like it was I don't think I could ever get more than about 500, and I got I think 600.
Wow, I guess that is a pretty big increase.
Yeah, that's a pretty big change.
One of the most important things in the general is the idle kicking thing. Like made improvements to that, so people can't spin in circles. Well, hopefully they can't spin in circles. It says they made improvements. It doesn't say what exactly they did. Like, is it going to be... But is it going to be a problem, like, to the extent where they're just... Like, if you, I don't know, pause your game and go to get a drink for half a second in between rounds, are you going to get kicked for being idle?
I could see that happening.
I've had it glitch before where I've actually been, like,
about.
looking at my star cards, and it's kicked me for being idle before, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a feeling there's going to be some of that.
It sucks that this is even a problem, that people have to take advantage over this. But I hope that whatever they did, that they changes in this this patch, gets rid of the heroes versus villains problem. Because, I mean, that ruined the entire game mode. Like, people go and they just want to have fun and just fight in epic hero battles. And you can't do it because people are spinning in circles. It's so stupid. I don't know why. I mean, I get why they're grinding it out, but... It just ruins the game for everybody. So I'm glad that they at least are trying to fix it. But overall, I really like the patch notes. I'm glad that, I mean, it's a big step in the right direction. Now, a lot of you guys are like gave us crap in our last podcast because you say we only point out the bad things. But no, if they do stuff that's good, then I mean, we'll praise them just as much as we.
Shit, we said the game is really good. I still think it's a good game.
Oh yeah, the game's great. We wouldn't play it. We wouldn't play it as much if we didn't like the game. But I mean, we want the game to do well. We just have to criticize it so that they hopefully make improvements on it. And so far, they're making good improvements on it. So
that's a great segue because now we're going to criticize it on which parts of the patch notes they did not do. That we wanted them to do, or at least they haven't done yet, or haven't shown any sign that they did them. I'm going to start this off with the first thing that comes to my mind is with all the hero patches, there's a name that is not there that desperately needed it, and it was Iden Versio. She got nothing.
Yeah, that's a good
she
point.
got no buff. That is insane.
They didn't tweak her at all. Well, people were defending her in my kill streak video with her. They're like, "No, Swany, she's good in Heroes versus Villains. You just have to be smart with her and stay in the back. Like, she should have equal amount of health as Leia. Like, Leia, you can do this pretty much the same thing. You sit in the back and you can snipe with her pistol. But she needs something. Her shield doesn't work half the time.
Not really, because her you can't actually snipe from the back because it's like a TL50, so she's got to be close up. So when you have somebody that has to be close up,
you just have to mortar with it.
Well, even that, it doesn't go as far as like Leia's shot does. It's not the same. It's not that like. It's also not that accurate. So
all
the
I'm saying,
TL50's kind of.
They could have at least given her like 100 extra health or something. Something.
Sure.
Like, or fixed her shield so that it
it
blocks damage. It doesn't block damage. Her droid like glitches out. Like it only activates if somebody's in its radius. And then sometimes, like, I've had it fly out towards a group of people, and then it doesn't do anything at all. And then I'm getting killed because I'm relying on the droid to do its job, and it doesn't. And then I die. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing they didn't do anything to her, which wasn't much needed.
I'm kind of shocked, honestly. Because they did do stuff to Palpatine. I don't know why they would just... Maybe they're just pretending or hoping she goes away and people just don't play her anymore.
I don't know. Her stats have to be horrible. I know they keep track of everybody's stats, so she's got to have like the worst kill-death ratio out of all the heroes. She's pretty freaking bad.
You would think, being somebody EA kind of more or less created, they would be trying really hard to get people to want to play as her. So that's kind of shocking to have not done anything to her. As far as general, I think otherwise with heroes, I don't think I'm disappointed in anything. I think they...
Well, I was hoping for
at least
a heavy sentry nerf, like the damage against heroes. I'm fingers crossed for next patch, I guess.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like individual heroes and their nerfs and buffs. I'm not really disappointed otherwise, other than Iden.
Oh no.
But as far as that kind of stuff. Yeah, Supercharged Sentry didn't get any buff as far as I can tell. Vanguard didn't need a buff.
I needed a nerf.
Oh, excuse me.
Saying that backwards.
Wrong word. I'm losing my mind.
Well, let's buff
Wrong
it. Make
word.
it stronger.
It needs to one-shot everything on the battlefield, even if it doesn't hit it. The same with Vanguard. Now, Vanguard didn't get a nerf either, which is very disappointing to me. I was desperately hoping that would, because I hate Vanguard with such a passion, especially against heroes. It's ridiculous. And then also the Kashyyyk battle points glitch. I haven't heard anything about that either. Where people
with the planes
rack up battle points like crazy on Kashyyyk. Is it just Kashyyyk, or are they going to do that on other maps? I think.
Well, Kashyyyk has it bad. Any map where there's planes, you can milk that system. You can get
like Takadon. I can get.
It's
pretty
not
bad
really
too.
Battle points; it's score. You get a lot of score for killing planes, which you get way more score than like someone on the ground, and then somebody could just kill AI planes the entire match, and then they get the most credits because they just farmed planes.
I would say that maybe the only thing that where it says fix several scoring event issues, maybe that's what that means. If that's what that means, I take that back. But otherwise, that's definitely something they should have fixed that they didn't. But maybe that's what that means. Otherwise, nothing comes to mind right away that they should have nerfed or buffed and didn't. But Iden, Vanguard, and Supercharged Sentry, and potentially that battle point / score glitch is my biggest problems.
Well, people give us crap because we bring up nerfs and buffs all the time, and they think that we should keep it the same, and we just complain. They think if we want buffs or nerfs, it's going to break the balance of the game. Like, the reason we bring up nerfs and buffs is because, like I'm fine. Like, I'm good with the way the game is. I could manage to get kills or whatever. I'm thinking about the casual players, because there's way more casual players than there are, like, serious players. And if I'm having trouble getting kills with the Iden, for example, and I play this game a lot, then I guarantee the casual player is going to have trouble getting kills with Iden. Like, the casual player's they're just going to waste their battle points, pick Iden, die instantly, and then get upset, and then not want to play the game. So when we say we need nerfs or buffs, I'm thinking about other players, not like myself.
Yeah.
What are you giggling at?
You said burfs.
Burfs?
It sounds funny. It's like a combination between a burp and a barf. Burf.
When Iden gets a burf.
She gets a burf. Well, on that note, I think we'll finish out this podcast right there. Guys, let us know in the comments. I know that you always have opinions on these things. We'd love to see them. Let us know down there in the comments what you think of what we said, what you think of the patch notes, what you think they need to add. If you like the patch notes, whatever you want to talk about, hit us up in the comments, and we'll be looking through that. Also, smash the like button as always. Subscribe if you haven't already. Donate to Patreon if you can. We've been trying to get that going again. We're going to try and work on it a little bit here in the next coming weeks. So go ahead and be a patron if you can. It's in the description. And watch another video. And I think that's it. So have a great day, guys.
Goodbye.
Your defeat is inevitable.
I warn you not to underestimate my powers.
Do not throw away your potential.